Okay, you have got to hear this story. Seriously, it sounds like something straight out of a movie. We've got a 20-year-old college kid, an AI he built in just 10 days, and a $4 million deal that went down in less than 24 hours. This isn't science fiction, folks. This is happening right now. And it's a look at a future where one person can basically build an empire from their dorm room.
So let's set the scene. The year is 2026. Over on GitHub, which is, the biggest stage in the world for coders, some new project just explodes out of nowhere. It shoots all the way up to #1 on the global trending list. This is the place where all the best developers show off their work, and a single student just took the crown.
And this chart, it says it all. I mean, just look at this. That huge bar, MiroFish, isn't just winning. It's absolutely towering over projects from the biggest names in the game. We're talking OpenAI, Google, Microsoft. It's a total David versus Goliath situation, played out in lines of code.
Which brings us to the big question, right? The one we're all thinking. How in the world did a 20-year-old, working all by himself, create a world-beating AI system in just 10 days? Well, let's get into it.
This wasn't just about getting famous online. The second this project blew up, it caught the eye of some very serious people with very deep pockets. This open source code was about to turn into some cold, hard cash.
Let's talk about the money. 30 million Chinese yuan. To put that in perspective for you, that's roughly 4.1 million US dollars. That's the investment that was pledged to this project. It went from a student's side hustle to a massively funded startup, like literally overnight.
In this whole story, it really points to a massive change in how things get done. This quote just nails it. We are officially in an age where one single person with the right tools can do what used to take an entire company. People are calling this the era of the super individual.
So who is this super individual? Who is the brain behind this whole thing? It's time to meet the creator of MiroFish. His name is Guo Hanjiang. He also goes by the alias Baifu Online. And as you can see here, he's just a 20-year-old student at Beijing University of Posts and Telecommunications. But get this wasn't just a lucky break. His last project, MiroFish, also shot to the top of GitHub, getting 20,000 stars in a week. This guy knows what he's doing. This was no accident.
So how did he build something so insanely complex, so fast? The secret is a method he calls vibe coding. And here's the key idea. Instead of manually typing out every single line of code, he uses AI assistants to do all the heavy lifting. That leaves him free to focus on the big picture, the architecture, the vibe of the whole system.
And this right here makes the difference so obvious. Old school coding is slow, painful, and you're always worried about a misplaced comma. Vibe coding, on the other hand, is AI-assisted, super fast, and it's all about the core logic. The AI becomes less of a tool and more like your co-pilot. Okay, so we know who built it and we know how, but what in the world is MiroFish? Well, the simplest way to think about it is like a digital crystal ball.
The science behind it is a concept called swarm intelligence. It's a really cool idea. You know how you see a flock of birds and they all move together perfectly without a leader? Or a school of fish? MiroFish uses that same principle, but with a swarm of AI agents to simulate really complex human behaviors. The goal here is just wildly ambitious. It's designed to play out these really complex what-if scenarios in a digital simulation, a sand table, so you can see what might happen in the real world before it actually does. Imagine being able to predict how the stock market will react to a news story or how people will feel about a new policy. It's trying to evolve the future in a safe digital space.
So how does it actually work? It's basically a four-step process. First, you give it some seed information, like a news article or a tweet. Second, it creates a massive army of AI agents based on that info. Third, it lets all those agents interact in the simulation. And finally, it analyzes all that chaos to predict what might happen next.
And the scale we're talking about is just mind-blowing. We're talking up to 700,000 individual AI agents running in a single simulation. And it's built on some really advanced tech. It uses something called GraphRag to pull in real-world knowledge, kind of like a super smart search engine, and ZepCloud to give the agents long-term memory so they can actually learn from what happens. This is the real deal. Okay, now we get to the part of the story that, like I said, sounds completely made up. The tech was amazing, for sure, but the way it got funded is a story in itself.
Just check out this timeline. It is wild. Guo was actually just an intern at a company called Shanda Group. Late one night, he sends a demo video of MiroFish to the founder, a legendary investor named Chen Tianqiao. By the next morning, Chen had seen it. By that afternoon, they were talking investment, and in less than a day, a 30 million RMB deal was basically done. Insane. And just like that, Guo Hanjiang's entire life was turned upside down. He went from being a college intern to the CEO of a multi-million-dollar AI company. It's just a crazy example of how fast things can happen in this new AI-powered world.
So what's the big lesson here? Why does one student's project matter so much to the rest of us? Well, because it's a sign of a much, much bigger shift. The future belongs to the individual. So let's just recap why MiroFish is such a landmark moment. It's not just that it beat the tech giants. It's that it did it while being totally open source, which means anyone can use it and build on it. It's incredibly powerful, but it's also accessible. And that's a combination that really changes the game. Which brings us right back to this main idea. The story of MiroFish is pretty much the ultimate proof. One person with a big idea, powered by AI, can now create things that can genuinely change the world. The era of the super individual isn't coming, it's here. And that leaves us with one last, really exciting question to think about. If a 20-year-old intern can build a world-class AI in 10 days from his desk, what's next? What other massive industries are about to be completely upended, not by a huge corporation, but by one brilliant mind? The possibilities are, well, they're kind of endless.